Back again, another week, and it's another UFC pay-per-view, which can only mean one thing. It's time for Fight Night Phil. That's my best. It's my best that you're gonna get. You're not gonna get. I'm not. I don't know if I could do any better intro for you. I mean, maybe if I was standing up and physically able to get like full body into it. But this is the absolute best intro I can give for the one and only Fight Night Phil, record of 9-1 in picking the last two pay-per-view cards. Welcome back to the show, Phil.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me again. Looking to keep that title.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil is.
I think I scared everybody away.
We had some other people that
Danny hasn't come back. He's like
Danny
afraid.
was looking to come back on the show, and we had a couple other folks that were interested in coming on, but Phil's picking prowess is unmatched, and you might have scared them away, so it's all right. This main card, has a wee bit of change from what it used to be, as we were talking a little bit off air. The co-main event is not the co-main event.
Yeah, we lost the Nunez. I forgot who her opponent was. Amanda Nunez. It was Megan Anderson, I think. It was who she was supposed to fight for the title. But Nunez, her daughter, and her wife have all tested positive for COVID.
So they are
now.
We will get into the Aldo Munoz replacement when we get in there. So the card is it looks a little different now than it would have with Amanda Nunez on it, but it's still a pretty solid card. It's
still a stacked card. I mean, yeah, the two title pay-per-view fight is always great. But I mean, life happens. I mean, we are in the middle of a pandemic.
I found it really interesting. So last pay-per-view we did was obviously McGregor Poirier, and I actually thought that first fight on the card with what is it, Morninho or whatever his name was that came up.
Morninho and Morninho who fought
I don't know. We're all blanking on his name.
Sugar Sean.
Yeah, he came in and he just took a beating, and it was probably fight of the night. It should have been fight of the night. The pay-per-view
I feel like they did him dirty.
They did.
I mean, he was still standing, and yes, he was taking a beating. I understand you have to look out for the fighter's well-being. Sorry if you can hear my dog yipping back there. She's going nuts. He's still standing. 30 seconds left. Let him take 30 more seconds of beating and go to a decision.
Yeah,
I mean, it's his UFC debut.
Win. He wasn't winning the fight.
No, not at all. Not in the least bit. I mean, he took home an extra $75,000.
Yeah.
With fight of the night, but the kid's still only. Oh God, I don't even think he broke $100,000.
Yeah.
On the night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still life-changing money. I mean, 80 hours a week in a paint store to one check for $80,000.
Yeah, it's a big difference. I also look at the progression of the fights in that pay-per-view, and it got worse and worse as the night went on, to the climax, which ended up being very disappointing. Obviously, I think we would have liked to have seen more out of that Poirier McGregor bout. Honestly, I know that everyone was saying that Poirier had him. McGregor looked like he was starting to make some shots. He was taking hits too, though. It felt like a letdown.
It was, and to come out afterwards and show all these pictures of, I had a fracture going into it. why not postpone it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why? And then just to sit there and cry about it. You didn't beat me. I was already beaten and hurt coming into this.
It was tough.
He's all hype and he's. I don't think we may see him back one more time in the UFC, but I don't think. I think he's gonna continue to hang out with the Beebs and do his proper 12 thing.
Yeah. Um, so that was a disappointing card for a stacked card. This card has a lot of potential, and it starts off with a bantamweight bout between Song Yadong and Casey Kenny. How can you not like the name Song Yadong?
The Korean Zombie.
He is he's unreal. He's an unreal fighter. Um, Phil, who are you leaning for in the Yadong Kenny fight? They're both coming off
No.
losses.
All right, so they're both coming off losses, but before that, well, I guess Song Yang Dong is coming. He has 2 wins and a draw before that loss, and he said Casey Kenny. He's fresh into the UFC or newer, I
Yeah,
believe. Yeah, 2019 is when he burst into the UFC, and he actually went on a five fight win streak before that loss to Dominic Cruz. And he won a decision to Dominic Cruz. I mean, dude's 23-3.
yeah.
Um, Yadong Song's been in the UFC for a while. I mean, 16-5-1 with one no contest. I know he's a zombie and he can take punches and a beating. But I'm gonna go with my boy Casey on this fight. I know the odds on this fight. It's Casey Keeney. It's pretty much a pick 'em. They're both negative 115 for Casey, negative 105 for Song Yadong. Um, but so it's even money there. But Casey Keeney for this one. That's gonna be my official locked in
Locked in
vote.
pick. Okay. I
Yes,
am
sir.
I'm gonna go with Song on this just to be contrary. Someone's got to take the title from you, so I've got to push it. That's the only reason why. It's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em. Like honestly, you're not gonna. This is not where you would make your money if you were making a bet on a fight. It's there's not heavy odds either way, so take that for what it's worth. Um, the first women's division fight is the strawweight between Ticia Torres and Angela Hill. I'm leaning Hill in this fight, if I'm being
Angela
honest with you.
Hill.
Yeah, I'm leaning Angela Hill in this. I feel like she's coming in. She's coming off a win.
Yeah, Tisha Tiny Tornado Torres, who's 2-2 in her last four. Angela also 2-2 in her last four. Uh, Angela Hill just beat Ashley Yoder, who actually just lost again, I believe. And Tisha, her last fight, Tisha fought back in 2020 against Brianna Van Buren and Sam Hughes. This is an interesting matchup. Um, Vegas has Tisha Torres as the favorite on this card. Um, Smart money. I gotta go. I'm gonna listen to Vegas on this one. So I think that we've both picked two different
Yep.
outcomes for both fights here tonight
Yeah,
so
this is
far.
it's a little unusual. We're usually on the same. I'll tell you what it's not that I'm against the Vegas pick. I think Vegas is there's a reason the money's usually on there. Um, but
Now the
looking
odds
at
aren't that far apart.
no, uh, Torres mostly wins by decision. There's a lot of wins by decision. 90% of her
She's
bouts
a
are win by
she
decision.
she's a ground wrestler. She'll take you to the ground and she just rides you out.
Yeah,
Grinds you, pushes you on the cage.
yeah. Angela Hill has some knockout potential and some decision potential. Neither of them are submission technicians, so I'm hoping for a stray hand somewhere, maybe catches Torres, and Angela Hill walks away with the victory. So we'll see what happens. This is a strange occurrence for us because I doubt we're going to be separate on all the fights, but these early fights are usually where the upsets will happen. The big upsets will happen, at least on terms of
Yeah,
making
this
the
is
wagers.
an interesting pay-per-view.
Um, on the next fight, we've got is it Michael Chiesa and
Michael Chiesa.
yeah, and Vincent LeCue.
Vincent
Uh,
Locke
is it
or
Locke? See,
Lucky or
yeah,
Locky or something.
I went with LeCue. We'll go with Locke. Whatever it is, he's an American with a French last name, so I don't know what you want. You do take that as you will. 27-1 for Vincent and Vicente. And Michael Chase is 18-4-0. They're both coming off wins their last fight. Where is the money on this one, Phil? And where are you going with this?
Vegas has it really close again with Vicente Locke as a slight favorite. 124 favorite to a 102 underdog. That's across the board. Um, Locke has hopped on the scene and well, he's been in the UFC. Wow, actually a lot longer than I expected. Since 2015. This is one of those guys I've been around for a while and I haven't really heard of his name. But his last loss was to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson
Wow.
back in 2019. He's gone on to grind out Mike Perry to a decision. He's knocked out Dylan Krantz and Randy Brown and Nico Price. So he's knocked out his last three opponents, and then he subbed Tyrone Woodley in his last fight.
Yeah, and he certainly is.
And
He's
then
more
we've
of a
got
striker.
Chiesa, who
He's more of a striker than he is
yes,
a
he's the
grappler, right?
striker. Some and yes, Chiesa's a submission ground guy. If you look at most of his wins, they're by submission.
Yeah,
He's the grappler. I mean, yeah, he hasn't lost since 2017. Or no, he lost in 2018 to Anthony Pettis by submission. But he's gone on. He went on the decision to beat Diego Sanchez, Rafael Dos Anjos, and
yeah.
then Neil Magny back in January. I'm not gonna listen to Vegas on this one. I'm gonna go with Michael Chiesa, the Maverick.
So I have a really hard time with this one because my eye test tells me go with the guy that's striking a ton. But I think I'm with you on this one and taking Chiesa. Um, I feel a submission second round coming. I don't know why. It's completely out there.
He's
This
a
is not
very
this is not financial
talented.
advice.
He's a purple belt in jujitsu. I mean,
Yeah.
that's nothing to frown at.
Yep.
I mean, and then he went to a 5-round decision in his last fight, so he's got the cardio.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
think
Michael
that's
Chiesa.
yeah. He is a slight higher rank. He's the number 5 over the number 6. So um is that your underdog pick of the night, or do you have an
Um,
underdog in the main card?
well, who else? No, I definitely have another underdog.
Okay.
Maybe two.
Okay.
I gotta relook and think about this next fight coming up on the card. I haven't.
Well, this is our replacement fight for the Amanda Nunes fight, which is Jose Aldo and Pedro Munoz, with Aldo being the favorite, not by a ton, but he's a clear favorite.
Oh, wow, he's only 34. Oh, so is Munoz. He looks so much older, and he's
Yes,
been
he
around for
does.
so long. I mean, he joined UFC 2011,
Yeah.
back when WEC merged.
Yeah.
But he's been on an up and down roller coaster. Uh, yeah, 2-2, actually 2-3 in his last five.
Yeah.
Um, his last fight where he lost to Peter Yan for the bantamweight title, by knockout in the fifth round. Uh, Before that, I mean, he beat Marlon Vera. I don't know. See, this is a tough one.
I'll tell you
They're
what
both.
I'll tell you
Go
what
ahead.
I'm thinking here. I think that this has upset special written all over it. I think that this could be a Munoz fight
And
just
I think
because of the way it's
Vegas
there.
feels the same way because. So now, if I'm looking at FanDuel, FanDuel has Munoz as an underdog at plus 104. But
Yes.
then I look at like DraftKings, PointsBet, and William Hill, and they all have him at a negative 105. They have it at even money. So
And
I
just to
feel like a
clarify
lot of other
for
people are feeling that.
yeah, just to clarify for people, we are recording this on August 3rd. The odds will shift and change.
Yes,
And
clearly.
it is what it is, right? Like we're recording this early so we can get it to you guys early, but odds will change. They're always subject to change. So right now, I still think that Munoz is technically an underdog. I know that DraftKings is the
Yeah,
official.
even if the odds change, my lock and pick, um, because Munoz is on a roller coaster too.
Yeah, I know. I know.
They're both like at that like crossroads in their career. Like they got to prove they still have it. I mean, 34 years old in this game is up there. We got Munoz is the number 9, and
Aldo's 5.
Aldo's 5. Uh this is gonna be my second upset pick of the night.
You're going Munoz?
Pedro Munoz.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm
Um,
going Munoz too. I don't know, man. I like a lot of
I
my
feel like Aldo's on that downslope of his career. Um,
definitely.
I don't want to see him go out like Anderson Silva did.
No, no.
Hopefully, he takes like his goes out with his legacy and just on top.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not at the top now, but with some accolades still there that people still respect because when you go out and get just want to fight just to fight and you're constantly getting knocked out, it kind of diminishes your reputation and your whole legacy that you've built.
yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I also am going Munoz. And then in our other co-main event, I guess, really the hopefully the crown jewel of this card is Cyril Gane and Derek Lewis.
This is going to be fireworks.
Gane is a heavy favorite.
Heavy,
Like and so
disgustingly
like
high.
so like let me ask you this because I look at this and the guy that's going to put money on the fight says put a bet on Derek Lewis because you're not hurting yourself
Nah,
with the return if he wins.
okay, dude's 9-0, right?
He's also the number 2
But
contender.
but they're decisions.
I know.
Most of them, like he's got 1 knockout and 2 submissions, so he's a big dude. But clearly, he doesn't have the power. Like something tells me that the power he's lacking the power behind his punches because I mean, otherwise, 5-round decisions. He's won 2 5-round decisions in his last 2 fights,
Yeah,
and he's going into another 5-round. I feel like Derek Lewis is a heavier hitter.
he is.
Um,
Derek Lewis doesn't hit as much. He doesn't throw as many strikes, but
he's a
if they
counter
land,
striker.
but if they land, watch out, because it's like a Mack truck coming into you.
I mean, because you look at Lewis, knockout, submit, decision, mostly knockouts.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude just scary hands.
Yeah.
He's got that fat boy physique. His nuts are sweaty. God, that was the best interview I think anybody's ever given in the UFC. Did you see that?
No.
Boy, he ripped off his fight pants, and they're like, "Why'd you take your pants off?" And he goes, "Because my nuts are hot."
God.
Uh,
This is tough, man, because this is like
I
the
think
favorite is
Vegas is
there.
insane. I think Vegas is insane. Uh, Statistically and physically, on paper, Gagne is the superior fighter.
Yes.
I don't think he can stand and bang with Lewis. I think if he takes it to the ground, Lewis is too big. Third round knockout, Derek Lewis.
Going with the underdog.
Huge.
That's okay. So I'm also with you on Lewis, because I think that if you're placing bets, and this goes, and we'll be talking about this during football season as well as we go through. I'll have you back on, obviously, for some football talk. But when you're making DFS picks for football, sometimes it's about taking the lesser owned guy and taking the chalk. So, or versus taking the chalk. I think on DraftKings, Cyril Gahn's going to be owned out the wazoo. He's the heavy favorite. Of course, a win
I
there would
think
look
a
good,
lot of
but
people are going to lose a lot of money
betting the heavy favorite,
betting the heavy favorite on this one.
yeah. If you were just going to a bookie, I don't see why you wouldn't take the underdog here, who's a higher rank and is clearly a heavy hitter. So I am also with you on this one. So to recap our picks, before I get into I have a few questions for you on this, and then I do want to get your opinion on some trade deadline things that happened, because baseball was insane this past week.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
so Phil went with Kenny. I went Song. Phil went Torres. I went Hill. We both went Chiesa. We both went Munoz, and we both went Lewis. So the last three were all in sync, and the early fights is where we differ. So we'll see if Fight Night Phil.
Will we have a
No.
new title holder?
Fight Night Phil merch will be available in the store coming up. Check it out. I'll put the link in the description. Man, MLB's trade deadline came and went. If we can get away from UFC for just a minute here. My Blue Jays made some
Cubs
moves.
had a fire sale.
The Cubs blew it up, and I don't know why they did that. I don't understand the logic behind it. I know they had to pay guys. I know there were guys coming up, and you don't want to lose them for nothing. But boy, did they empty the cupboards in a hurry. So did the Nationals.
Oh yeah, what
Thanks, Juan
Trey
Soto.
Turner, Max Scherzer.
Poor
Like,
Juan Soto's wondering where everybody went.
he's stuck there.
Poor
He's gonna
guy.
be like Mike Trout, stuck there with no team around him.
I'm sure at least he's getting paid.
But yeah, like you're saying, you're Blue Jays.
So I want to ask you this, because this is an interesting debate that happened in Blue Jays land. The Blue Jays gave up two high-end prospects, Simeon Woods Richardson and Austin Martin. Woods Richardson came over as part of the Marcus Stroman deal. Austin Martin was like the number one draft choice, not last year, the year before, I think, whatever it was. It's hard to, pandemic year is all mixed up. So he was a high draft.
2017.
No,
I
I
think
think it was,
2018 was Torkelson
yeah, I think so.
or Mize, one of the two.
So two high-end prospects going in the return for a bona fide number three arm. And I say number three because he's not an ace. Jose Barrios is a solid pitcher, who I think is excellent. But the
So you're
fans,
giving up something that has tons of potential downfall for something that's proven itself already.
yes. And it's the argument
I,
always,
I
because
think it's
prospects are
an
prospects.
upside. I mean, they could go out and he could go out and be the next Trout or Otani, or they could go out and just become the next bust.
Well, the problem
It's
is Blue Jays fans have this problem because back in 2013 they traded Noah Syndergaard to the Mets, and we got R.A. Dickey back, who had just won a Cy Young. And R.A. Dickey, as much as he's R.A. Dickey, he's a knuckleball pitcher. He wasn't going to be a Cy Young Award winner in the AL East against the Yankees and Red Sox, even the Rays and Orioles at that time were hitting. So Jays have like traumatic flashbacks of we had Syndergaard and we let him go because we didn't need this. But bats are easier to replace than arms. It is a lot harder to get a solid rotation in baseball than it is to find guys who can rake, in my opinion. I know that I'm not
Tell
the
me
only
about
one.
it. Look at my team after we dumped off Scherzer and Verlander, uh, who we sent down to the Rays, ended up winning a Cy Young.
Yeah.
Uh, And now we have nobody.
So do you?
It's literally all like rookies.
Yeah. You guys are young. You're very young. What do you do in that situation? Like, are you okay with giving up high end prospects for proven talent, even if it's like everybody's like, well, Barrios isn't going to be an ace, but
Given
I'm
your
like, whatever.
given your team and the current build around it and and needing that arm,
Yeah.
you've got bats, you've got the offense.
Yeah.
You need that. You need the. It's a smart choice in mine. I mean,
I looked at it
as a
and
card collector, I hate it.
sure.
But as a sports fan, it's smart. It's a
Yeah.
smart decision.
Well, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, that were arguing the decision were also card collectors. So they were holding all their Austin Martin firsts and very disappointed with it. But it is what
I
it
mean, it's still
is.
going to be worth money.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
Well.
just he's just in a Blue Jays uniform.
Yeah.
It's still
It
his
happens.
first Bowman.
It happens a lot, and I think people forget that prospecting is so hard and so long term. Because unlike the NFL or NBA or NHL, first round draft picks usually don't show up for 3 to 5 years unless they're like
Now,
special.
what about the cross country trade or the cross city trade? Didn't the White Sox send Nick Madrigal to the
Yeah, they
Cubs?
did. What are you doing? What are they doing? Like why?
It's
Madrigal's solid.
especially with injury prone. I mean, their team's been hurt.
Yeah.
They were one of the projected favorites in
Yeah.
the Central,
Yeah. The Central's a
and
mess right now. The Central's a mess. Like
oh god, yeah.
I don't know what you're going to do in the Central. So the AL East is still very much up for grabs, despite what Rays and Red Sox fans think. I think that the AL East is still very much in play, and I think the wild card is still in play. So the Blue Jays have bats. I think they're winning right now
Um,
too.
yeah. What are they? How many games back? 7. Oh, you guys are 8 games back out of first.
At a first, but they're
7 out of
still
7.
but they're still in the wild card hunt hard. I think only 4 games out of the wild card, maybe 4.5. They dropped one last night
I
in the
mean,
extra innings.
yeah, the White Sox are still winning the Central or leading the Central right now, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't count the Indians out.
the Indians are losing 7-2
And
to my
then
Blue
I mean,
Jays
you
right
get
now.
the AL West. Astros are holding a small, and my Tigers are playing the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Oh, they're actually winning. They're beating the Red Sox right now.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting run down the stretch for sure. Once the
I say
playoffs are
my
determined.
team didn't make too. My team didn't make too many trade deadline moves. I think they traded one. We traded Daniel Norris to the Brewers. That was, I believe, the only trade we made
Daniel
the whole
Norris,
deadline.
former Blue Jay Daniel Norris, lives out of a van in the
Lives out
offseason.
of his van. Yep.
Yeah. Everybody knows.
My
that
daughter
one
started
was.
crying when I told her that they traded him because he just signed her hat for her at the game we went to 2
Oh,
weeks
that's too
ago.
bad. It's still a good sign.
Yeah.
All right, Phil, we'll look and see who maintains the title, because you've been on a hot streak. You're 9-1, and if you're not listening to Phil's
14 and
picks,
1.
14-1.
I'll
He
be
is
14 and 1. I'll
well.
be 14
We'll
and 1.
we'll see. If you're not listening to Phil's picks, you're making a fool of yourself, because, like I said, he's 9-1 so far. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think the pick should be. Don't forget to subscribe. Phil, thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for having me on. The next pay-per-view before we leave. The next pay-per-view is a huge one, 266. So we will be, hopefully we'll be back for that one.
Oh, we'll be back for that. We'll definitely be back for
Because
266 of
that's
Volkanovski
a
and Ortega.
huge card. It is Volkanovski, Ortega, then you got Shevchenko and Murphy, Diaz and Lawler.
It's a stack card.
It's
You'll be
always a big card when you got a Diaz on the card.
you'll be pushing. You'll be
And
looking to
then
push it
Nate
at almost
is
20.
returning back here soon. Nate Diaz is coming back to the UFC.
Yeah,
So,
it's going to be a big one.
all righty.
We'll
Thanks
have
for
you on
having
there.
me, Dave.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, good luck with your picks. Yep.
Same to you. We'll be posting them on the socials so you can follow along, see how we did. Thanks for checking us out.